It's time for another Tuesday Ride podcast, and the group has just crossed Mulberry, and life is good. It's a different route this time because, well, there's lots of construction. So the riders are getting assembled a little bit. There's no sense of urgency. Some of the riders had crossed the street earlier and they were kind of soft pedaling, and now we're catching them. Not certain if they were really paying attention. There's Greg a little bit back, and Byron and Isla go flying by. We got John and Mike quick to take the chase up, and they had nice little echelons going and properly following in the wheel. Looking behind here, we can see no sense of urgency from the rest of us. Yours truly leading this little one. There's Carl, Carrie we haven't seen in a long time. There's Tony, and a few others back there. Nice shot of the Provello team, Fort Collins team there in their nice green. Looks kind of nice. Carrie's got his super cool glasses on. Looks so cool. Maybe I ought to nickname him Hollywood for this particular edition. So the rest of the group, they are starting to come up. I see Greg. I see Dean back there. And someone in the blue, I think we had an interloper. Anyway, there goes Tony going up the road to catch like Byron and Isla and John and Mike. I saw no sense of urgency here whatsoever. I think that looks like Mr. Workman, maybe from a TTH group that happened, whatever. Anyway, it's good to see the big man occasionally. Like we do see sightings of them. So we're kind of all on the road. That's okay. There's no traffic back, and I'm kind of enjoying the looking at all the flashing lights, kind of randomly just like popping off there. Everyone's got their blinkies now, some with radar, some without. Kind of cool, actually. So now we're going into Prospect, where there's a stop sign here. I really kind of wish people would have stopped here. I mean, yeah, it's clear both ways, but really, guys, this is actually like shit behavior. Um, Actually, entitlement. I wouldn't do it in my car. I wouldn't do it on my motorcycle. I really don't like doing it on my bicycle. The only reason, for the bicycle, maybe getting away with it is you're not going to do any real damage. Someone's going to do damage to you. Anyway, end of lecture there, so to speak. So the group is kind of assembling here. We got Byron up front, and I don't want to be caught back here, so I'm going to kind of move up a little bit and see how things are going. People are starting to get organized, but it's pretty much like soft pedaling here. Well, maybe not. Looking at my wattage, it's actually pretty hard. So now I want to move up a little bit because I don't want to be caught back there with the rabble, because I know there's people who are going to fall off and they don't have the courtesy to pull out of the line. They just kind of let the gap open up, and sometimes the pace is just too urgent here that I can't close that gap, at least not without, you know, killing myself. So starting to get organized. There's a super strong wind coming off of my left shoulder, and right now I am in the wind and not too happy about it. Byron up front, like Tony closing in, getting himself in the draft. Well, sort of in the draft. Tony's right, not really in the best spot. He should be a little closer to Byron's right hip, but anyway, I'm still out in the wind, and you can see the kind of wattage I'm pushing, and I'm looking for some way to get back in. Checking behind me, there's Hollywood, aka Carrie, looking strong back there. He's also in the wind. He hasn't been out for a while, so he might be writing checks his body can't cash, but life is good. Carl's in the sweet spot, John's in the sweet spot, and already there's carnage. So I see Dean hanging on there in the back, and Dean did a lot of work early on, but I'm not really certain if Dean's racing this weekend or whatever. He likes to do intervals, so um, I don't know. I don't know why he's back there. Maybe, yeah, I know he's strong enough to be up near the front. So anyhow, I'm gonna say this was like actually pretty frustrating for me at this point because I'm hanging out in the wind, just like bleeding off energy, and Byron is like given plenty of room for what should be like a super nice, like sharp echelon, keeping in mind that there's a super strong wind coming off our left shoulders here. So Carl's off to my right. You can't see him now, but Carl is like in the sweet spot. And I'm kind of frustrated here. It looks like we have a little separation back there. Nice. I was surprised that those kind of people fell off that early, but that little push over that little riser at like 400 watts, that would do it. So Carl's actually in the sweet spot off my right shoulder. and I'm looking to try to get into like a nice echelon with like 4 people. I'd like to be right to the Carl's like right, but I can't get in there. So then my thoughts are maybe I can get in here like next to Byron and have a little diagonal. But Tony is like basically sitting in the wrong spot. If he would have just moved over just like a foot, he would have been in a better spot, and I could have pulled in behind um, Carl, and we could have had a nice draft here. So I'm kind of floating around, and the camera really doesn't show it, and it kind of distorts it a little bit, like how much space is actually there. Um, so I see myself, I kind of forced myself in here. If Tony would have just dropped like a little bit and let me take the draft, that would have been good. Um, I did mention that like later on, like he cut me off, or not cut me off, but like had the spot I wanted to be, and he didn't moved over. And basically, he said to me like he got there first. Not really want to hear from a teammate or at least somebody wearing the same colors, but I think this shot here shows like my frustration here. Basically, Tony's not in the best spot to be getting shelter. He's out there playing like Macho Man out there on the right, probably just looking to get a hard ride in. Carl's in a sweet spot. And I should be like in a similar position diagonally the same way Carl is, but there's no room. And because Tony basically shut me off like from being next to Byron there, life wasn't any good. So I was just like hosed at this point. So at this point, um, it's over for me. And I was pretty tired from the day before, and Carl takes off. I don't know why Tony just didn't grab Carl's wheel on the way back and got to the left. He's still like way out to the right, and he's still to the left of Byron there. I'm like, what the heck is going on? Um, it's just frustrating. It was frustrating being there. It was frustrating watching it, and it's probably frustrating for you guys having to listen to me whine about it. But when you see seasoned riders that like have a kit on or whatever, and you're trying to cooperate, and some of the riders are doing the right thing, it's just frustrating. Yeah. If it was real racing, I would have been seriously more aggressive, or I would have like asked Byron to move over. But I was kind of tired anyhow. I really enjoy this stretch when I'm riding with people that know what they're doing. Matthew Michaels is like super good at this, always aware, and he'll look back and gives me plenty of room, and we'll talk about it. Like who's getting what shelter and why we're doing stuff. But this was just like frustrating. So anyway, I basically shut it down, and I'm in no man's land, and I see Greg kind of coming, and I'm like, Greg should probably earn catching me, so I throw a little bit of extra wood on the fire just to keep him chasing, because if I'm going too slow and he catches me, well, that's not really, rewarding for him, so I want to give him his reward. Clearly, he got caught off guard back there. I wish that the video actually showed how much wind was really out there. It was it was challenging. It's just like grating on you all day if you're on the wrong side. And with an uncooperative group, it's just basically painful. Painful for me to do it. Painful for me to make this video. Um, anyway, cruising to the top. Um, and like, it's not a race, and everyone got a good workout. But as part of this, and part of the learning here is like how to ride efficiently in a group. And unfortunately, like bad habits can develop if this is how people ride, or how you ride in your like in a group ride. When it comes to a race or whatever, you're going to fall back to those habits. You're not going to be used to being and finding the most efficient spot in a pace line. And basically, um, it's just not good for you and not good for the efficiency of the group. I guess, and I know you've seen good videos that I've done on Tuesdays where there's been some sweet echelons where it's just picture perfect. You could just draw a ruler down there, and yeah. Kind of wish I had Byron here to give some commentary. I'm assuming he probably took Carl on the line. Nice move by Carl. Nice positioning by Carl. Poor positioning by me. Um, Anyway, I guess I shouldn't be too disappointed. Oh, you can see some of the weeds over there blowing. Get an idea how the wind was. Looking at Greg's jacket there. Yep, little flap there. That it's just showing. It's just windy. So a good time was had by like most. At least a good workout. Um, and that's it for me. Peace out. Till next time.